Hey guys, Lex here. I'm gonna go over a couple things. Starting off with wormhole standing operating procedures and naming convention. So as far as the naming convention goes and where you can find it, that is over here. Corporation, home tab, bulletins, and voila. So wormhole standing operating procedures updated forever and a half ago. Has all the basics here. So you have the ID, system type, name of the system, type of class of the wormhole, and whether it's a K162 or not, and the size of ship that can pass through it. Now, the K162 thing is important because what that means is if you are on one side of the wormhole and you see K162, that means that it was opened from the other system that the wormhole connects to. But if you see a number other than K162, that means that it was opened from the side that you are on. So let's look in here as a quick example of that. We have this wormhole. This is a C247, okay? And it says there, right there in the overview. I can also see it here in the selected item window. I can hit information, see it there, and it'll tell me some information about it. It leads into unknown parts of space, beginning to decay, won't last another day, and has not had its stability disrupted by ships passing through it. It's a larger connection. So what this connection is actually is I already know that it goes to 044. So we're on another part of on the other side of a wormhole from 044. So it just popped through. You can see that the wormhole itself is not marked. So the first thing that I always want to do when I jump through a wormhole is want to make sure that wormhole is marked. If that hole is not marked, then I'm going to mark it. And so then I'll just double click on my icon here in space, drag the probes over to moi. Get them down to like 1 is good enough. And as long as I'm inside of there, being a little irritative, there we go. When I hit analyze at that point, I'm going to get the signal for the wormhole I just jumped through. Ta-ta! And there it is. So JFB is the ID for the wormhole I just passed through. So whenever I'm saving a wormhole, what I do not want to do is I don't want to save it out of the probe scanner window, because that's going to give me a save point that's actually out in the middle of nowhere. Well, like 10K off the hole. So we'll just, for the purposes of do not do this, I'm going to save this wormhole and show you what it looks like. Alright, so I saved that, and where is it at? Oh, right, there it is. So you see how it saved it on the signal icon over here and not on the wormhole itself? Okay, that's why you don't want to save out of the probe scanner window, because that's where it's going to put it, which doesn't really help us out that much. So what I am going to do is I am going to right click here in the overview, or I can right click in space directly on the icon, and I'm going to save that. Now, naming convention. The first thing I want to know is it going towards or away from our territory, our system, or one of our closest systems if we happen to be holding more than one at a time. In this case, this one goes towards 044, so I'm going to put a plus, okay? Then I'm going to put the ID, JFB, cool. Now we know that 44 is a class 3, so we can handle that. And we know the name of it, 044. So when you're naming wormhole systems, okay, and you're going to put the destination as to where this is going to take you, you're going to put the last 3 of the JSpace number, JSystem number, as the name of the system, okay? We need to be kind of uniform on that. Once we do that, we can put in the wormhole type, C247, okay? The class and the type are not the same thing, okay? So C3 is the class, all right, of the system that we're going to. The wormhole type is this ID number that you can find at the various locations that I showed you. And then last but not least, we want to know How big is it? This one will take a large. Now, what happens when this hole goes EOL? Well, real simple. You just take away that large and you put EOL. All right. If it's reduced, you can put an R. All right. If it's critical, you can put a C. All right. But otherwise, L for large, M for medium, S for small. Should be fairly simple designations. As far as whether or not a hole is reduced or a hole is critical, I honestly don't really note that very often. I either put in the size of ship that can fit through it, or I put the fact that it's EOL. And the reason why is when you land on a wormhole, you should be in the habit of hitting information and reading this. Seeing whether it's been disrupted, seeing whether it's been reduced, seeing whether it's critical. It's going to tell you all this in the wormhole information. So you should be kind of keeping on top of that yourself. As sort of a standard operating procedure when I approach a hole, let's make sure nothing weird has happened since the last time I jumped through it. That's how you'll get trapped. Okay? So we'll save this. And now, as you'll see, the hole is marked on the hole. And you can see that it's properly marked, and we know all the information we need to know about it. This thing over here that we don't want to do, we're going to get rid of that because we don't want to do that. That's not useful. So next we want to talk about, oh sorry, it's windy. Next we want to talk about Pathfinder, which I have been meaning to get into what Pathfinder means for a while. Okay. So first of all, this right here is the system that I'm in. Whenever you're logged into Pathfinder, it's going to allow you to, it's going to note everywhere that you move in a single jump, okay? So that's why it's important that people are in Pathfinder, because you can start here, or just here's our home system now. This is where I am right now, and so this is the connection that I just marked, right? And it gives you important information, like it tells you the C3 that it's connected to and the total mass of that connection, all right? It tells you the C5 static that it's connected to and the total mass of that connection. Let me be clear. These numbers down here are static connections to this C4 system that I'm in right now, okay? One of those C3 static connections is 044, okay? This one has a C3 static, like us again, and it also has a highsec static, and this is the highsec connection. So there's a couple of things that you can do with this program that can be super useful. One of the things is if you mouse over it, usually right where the class number is, you see how you get a little hand? That allows you to move it around. So if you need to reorganize how things are laid out, or so it makes a little bit more sense, you can move some stuff around like that, okay? Another thing, another piece of information is these squares in here will give you the effect of whatever the wormhole has. So again, right inside that little box is a bunch of information that you can, you know, get good use of right away. The connections, like this pink here, means that it's EOL. If I right click on that and I can toggle the EOL, I can set the stage, the mass status, right? So let's say, I'll turn the EOL off just for this. Let's say I rolled up on it and I looked at the information between the C3 and the C4 and it says that it's reduced. Awesome. So I'll just go to mass status and I'll hit reduce. So now it's orange, which says that it's reduced. Or let's say that it's critical. Dun, dun. All right. So we can do that. We can return it to where we had it, like so. A couple other things. If I click on a system, like so, all this information down here will start to fill in. You have to scroll down. This is the connection information. All right, so when I click on a particular connection, if I highlight that, all this is the connection information for that highlighted connection. It's going to tell you who's jumped through it, me. All right, how much mass was taken, how much is left. All that data is going to be in this square. Now it might be a little bit different on each person's sheet, okay, but that's generally what's happening there. Now I have the system highlighted, so if I scroll down and I look here in this box, all this below is talking about the signals that are in that system and other information like the Anoinkus page or the .land page, etc. So name of the system, type, security status, effect, number of planets, number of statics. I can make notes in here if I want. Alright, so I can be like, yay, This is home. Alright, so we can put information in there if you want, or I can confirm that and I can close it. This right here is interesting because how you get data in here is pretty useful, and I'm going to show you how you generally do it. In fact, we'll do it for the C4. So I'm going to highlight the C4, scroll back down. So now with this system under signatures, right, we're highlighting 757, same information, all right, statics and all that good stuff. But down here in signatures, it doesn't say anything. It just has this no signatures added thing. So let's go back in game. I'm going to go to our Scanner Pro window, and I'm going to hit Alt A, and that's going to highlight all the signatures in here. Then I'm going to hit, sorry, not Alt, Control A highlights everything. Control C will copy those signals, and then when I return to Pathfinder and I highlight this line here, put my mouse over here and click on that, so it says no signatures added. Then I hit Control V, and it's now going to populate all those signals. Okay, and so ideally, when everyone is logged in and everyone's using this and using these skills, then we're filling more and more information in, so everyone's a little bit more aware about what's where, how, and why. Some of the other things is you can add structures in. This route thing can be set up to JITA or other locations. We can set it up to home, for example. You can add more systems to it. Thera connection. Okay, so I don't know, guys, if you know anything about Thera, but Thera is the only named wormhole system in EVE that I know of, and it has a handful of Sister of EVE stations in it, NPC stations in it, that a lot of folks live out of. It's a massive, massive, massive system. Several hundred AU across. It's quite obnoxious, and lots of interesting things happen in there. So this window right here is actually giving you all of the current connections that lead to Thera. So we got a couple in Tashmerkin region, which are green. We got one in Every Shore. We have one in Genesis, and then, you know, some out in Wormhole space, etc. So if you decide you ever want to go to Thera, you can just look over here, and this will give you an idea of how you get to Thera. Okay, so this is sort of a basic run through of a video that I really should have made forever ago, and I'm sorry I didn't make it earlier. Don't know what that is. Anyway, you guys have fun, stay out of trouble, don't do anything I would do, and I'll see you in game later.